What is up, YouTube? I'm Alex Winkink Michael, and here's what I have for you today. Activision Blizzard. I'm sure you've heard several different things about them over the last week. A lot about layoffs and things like that, and it looks like today they finally pulled the trigger on this. And I think what we're seeing right now, as of a couple hours ago, it's a lot more substantial than previously thought. At least for me personally. I know that some numbers were flying around, but I was a little bit shocked at just how much or how many people were affected by this. And this is a tough day, and my heart really goes out to people that are in this situation. My hope, though, is that the community will rise, that these other companies will have needs that will need to be filled. The video games industry is a very healthy, massive money machine, and I really hope that these people land on their feet quickly. It was a substantial layoff, and we'll get to the articles. I have a couple things I want to share with you and show you, and I also want to show you another side of this, the kind of the bad side a little bit, the corporate side, and kind of just why these companies do things like this and what it's going to impact. And you're going to see a very interesting trend, I think, over the next week. And it's funny because I'm going to have to retract and backpedal a little bit on what I said, because this layoff is so substantial that it probably will affect their bottom line. And, it's just really shocking, I got to say. Activision Blizzard, rather, has 9,600 employees, roughly, and they let go of 8% of them. On their earnings call today, they said they would be shedding 8% of their employees. Now, I'm not sure if the earnings call went on and then they decided to conduct this, or if they conducted this first and then did the earnings call. Either way, it's a really, really terrible situation. And we'll kind of flip over to the Kotaku article, and it's Jason Schreier again that has broken this and said, Activision Blizzard lays off hundreds of employees, and the numbers are here. They had roughly 9,600 employees. On the earnings call this afternoon, the company said it would be eliminating 8% of staff and 8% of its staff. That means 800 people are now out of work. That is a lot of people. They said hundreds. They were throwing that number around, but I just couldn't picture it being this many. This close to 1,000. I mean, my gosh. And they started letting them go this afternoon. And it said that the various organizations within the company that were affected was Activision, Blizzard, and King. So they kind of really went across the board and cut bait. And I kind of expected this to be a decent number of employees, like a higher number, just because of the Bungie saying bye. And I knew that some of the employees were, that with Activision Blizzard were specifically working on Bungie-only items, support staff and things like that. I expected there's a substantial number, but not this substantial. This is a very large number of people. And they basically went on to say in their earnings call that they lowered the expectations of 2019. The CEO, Bobby Kotick, told investors the company had once again achieved record results in 2018, but the company would be consolidating and restructuring because of missed expectations for 2018. Interesting statement. This is the typical spin that you see on calls like this. The company said it would be cutting mainly non-game development departments and bolstering its development staff for franchises like Call of Duty and Diablo. And I'm going to get into this in a minute. And Kotaku does a great job. They actually got a copy of this letter that they had sent to some of these departments. I can't even believe that a company would even let this float. They have very bad leaks in Blizzard Activision. Activision and Blizzard. Basically, the letter, it promised a comprehensive severance package. There's no way to make this transition easy for impacted employees, but we're doing what we can to support our colleagues. All the stuff that you would expect. They're going to have health benefits, career coaching, job placement assistance, profit sharing bonuses. They're going to get all those things. And I don't know. It just at some point, it becomes more cost. It becomes much more difficult and just, it's not even cost efficient to let go of some of these people if you're going to offer all of these items. And it's the right thing to do. But why not just cross train them or or coach, develop, and train them into other areas. I mean, is there definitely a need to cut 8% of your workforce when you have games coming out? I mean, is there not a way, or is it? I mean, I would just really be interested in the cost analysis of, is this really conducive? But we'll go jump to why, kind of why this stuff happens and what it's going to mean. I've mentioned Motley Fool before, and it's a website that is a great stock website. And this is what I'm going to have to backtrack on a little bit that I mentioned earlier. I said in a previous video that I would stay away from Activision Blizzard stock. And I kind of said that based on very short-sightedness on my part of looking at the last couple months. But if you really draw the curtain back to the last year, there's some things in there that really kind of makes this a stock to watch. And Motley Fool's article right here kind of goes into that. Like video game stocks, here's 2 hot buys for February. And they list them. Activision Blizzard and Take-Two Interactive. Plenty of reason to be happy with their investments. I don't know about that because they've dropped substantially. And a lot of people have shown the stock drop and exactly what that has meant. But I got to tell you, this Activision Blizzard, right after this 8% layoffs, this is going to give the stock a little bit of a boost, I have a feeling. And this is kind of the ugly side of these things. I hate to say it, this kind of stuff does affect the stock price, and it typically does affect it in a positive way. It's going to probably go up over the next couple weeks a little bit. You know, I know they're taking a ton of heat for Diablo Immortal, but I'm telling you, I know that game is going to be successful in a lot of ways for them. Because as much as people are complaining about it, it's going to sell, and it's going to have microtransaction, and it's going to be a revenue generator for sure. I just, you know, it's interesting that they said this. And, you know, Take-Two, like I said, if it dropped a little more, I would be more interested because it's definitely not as volatile of a stock. Like Activision Blizzard has gone from like $85 a share to like $40 a share over the last, you know, right here it is, $41. I mean, that's a quote right now. Over the last like 5 months. I mean, it's been cut in half. And that's why when a stock's on a free fall like that, I tend to avoid it. And I don't know. To me now, like if you're an investor and if you're looking to invest money, I think that this is a stock that you probably are going to have to look at. Especially if you are in any type of technology, if you're into these types of things or into this type of field, you almost have to review this stock and take a look at it and say, you know, is this worth putting in a small amount of my portfolio? And I almost have to say it is. And you almost have to take the risk of doing it tomorrow morning and saying, okay, I got to buy this thing, you know, right now. I mean, when the bell tolls, you almost have to buy it. So this is the ugly side of these things because, unfortunately, when they do things like this and it is labeled as a restructuring, people tend to buy into that, especially companies this big with a track record of success. And they do have a track record of success. With that being said, they have a long way to go to really get this shareholder price to climb. They need a home run in 2019 desperately. I don't think Diablo Immortal is going to be the home run per se, but it will generate revenue for them. There's no doubt about it. Mobile games tend to perform very well, and they tend to kind of fall under the radar with just how well they perform. I'm going to say that Activision Blizzard has a long road. I'm not an expert by any means. I am just, you know, I'm not. I am not an expert. I don't claim to be an expert. This is a disclaimer here right now. But I am a little bit more on board with getting this stock, even though they just did the worst thing any business can do anywhere, and that is laying off employees. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think this is a good stock? Do you think it's a good company? Do you think they're going to come back in 2019? What do you think of these layoffs? 800 people. Let me know what you think. And I just want to say, guys, thank you all so much for the subscribers that have joined recently. I really appreciate you all tuning into these. It means the world to me that something I'm saying is being heard by somebody. So I got to tell you, thank you. I appreciate you. And here's to growing the channel some more. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Let me know if you think I'm wrong. I would love to hear that too. I'm always good for criticism and feedback. I appreciate it again. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you on the next one.